All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dedicated Show. I am super excited to have this very special guest with us today, Adam El Rafey, who is going to talk to us about what it's like to be the youngest guy in the room. And he should know a lot about this because he is only 11 years old. Really, really looking forward to having him on the show. Before I bring him on, I'd love for everyone in the audience to let us know where you're tuning in from. I think it's really interesting to hear kind of the diverse audience that we tend to get on the Dedicated Show. And while you do that, let me tell you a little bit about Adam. So Adam is an 11-year-old public speaker from Dubai, and he's going to share his journey into showing the world that it's not just age that matters, but it's the impact that you can make. He's an innovator, and he's passionate about reforming education. He's passionate about inspiring others to, follow their curiosities and find their voices at any age. He's started studying robotics at age 4, which is just wow. I have 2 kids, age 5 and 6, and I truly can't even imagine them studying robotics. They're learning how to read, really. He's currently focused on gamification, VR, AR in education, brain-computer interface, or BCIs, which I actually had to Google before our session, AI, and much, much more. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Adam up on the virtual stage here. And he's been doing this in the background the whole time. I love it. Hello, Adam. Welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I am doing very well. So I know it's almost, I guess it's 6 p.m. over in Dubai. And I know you already had a long day where you took your chemistry final, you took your math test, you did all your other schoolwork, you played a bit. So I'm really, really happy you made time for being on the show here.
No problem.
Awesome. So I provided a brief intro, but if there's anything else you'd like to tell the audience about yourself, now would be a great time.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but I also do I've also done 2 human accelerators. Well, partially 2. One of which is called Awecademy, super awesome, and one of which is called the Knowledge Society, or TKS, which I'll touch upon later.
Okay, awesome. No, I did not mention that. Very, very good to have that added. Thank you. I'm just going into the comments to see who's joined us. So we've got folks from Sweden, we've got India, we've got Andrew here from London, but he says Dubai is his favorite place. I guess when people can travel, he's going back. We've got Phil here from Chicago, Iran, China. People from all over the world are here to listen to you, Adam. So really, really excited again to have you here. And I think let's start with, we've titled this session The Youngest Guy in the Room because you find yourself to be, in a lot of occasions, the youngest guy in the room, right? So I wanted to start with, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like you don't belong, or do you feel like you belong even more because you bring this diverse opinion?
Well, actually, right now we treat each other as like equals. We're cool with each other, but I feel like there are a few phases to it. First of all, the proving phase. The time where you have to like sort of speak up more and share what you've done, all of that, and once people realize, we move into the second phase, the, as I like to call it, whoa phase. When people realize this kid is awesome, and like everyone wants you on their team / literally anything. And then third phase, equal phase, which lasts the longest, 100%. And you're just cool with each other. You treat each other as equals,
Wow, absolutely. I can imagine you go through that whoa phase so often in your life already at only age 11. So that's truly amazing to hear. And I love how you phased this approach in your mind where you're like, okay, they're going to treat me as an equal. Eventually they have to get over the whoa phase and really understand the impact that you can make and look past the size and age, right?
To be honest, I really want the whoa phase to last longer, but I can.
Yes, exactly. So you're currently in primary school and secondary school. So I wanted to kind of ask, how does this work? Are you doing school remotely, or just tell us a little bit more about your educational experience so far?
So I'm doing distance learning, which means learning but from a distance. You're welcome. I'm a very good explanations person. No, but seriously, Distance learning is where you do learning from home, and it's just live teams and stuff. And I was always doing my secondary online when I was in school since COVID started. But I used to attend all the classes, walk my way around the school. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's I guess mostly online learning. And do you have any tips for people who are learning remotely now, mainly I guess due to COVID or maybe some other reasons, how to kind of stay focused? Because a lot of the kids I know, including my own, they have trouble staying focused because there isn't a teacher that is kind of watching you the whole time, right? It's just you and your computer. Your teacher's kind of there on camera, but she's got all these other kids to manage. So do you have any tips on that?
Well, if you have a schedule that is flexible, take that and take it to maximize the advantage that you can get based on that, So for example, when I had a flexible timetable, I would get the work done in a fraction of the time, and I would get school done so quickly and move on with my life to get all of my other stuff done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess if you're self-disciplined, then you can really take advantage of that maybe extra time where you're not sitting in class waiting for your peers to finish their work, or you can just finish it and do something else, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Before I go into my next question, just want to remind the audience that feel free to ask Adam any questions. He has agreed to answer every question that comes in. Well, not every question, but we'll pick and choose some of the questions that come in. But Adam is happy to engage with the audience. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and type them into the comments. So Adam, you started learning robotics at age 4. Now, let me paint the picture. I have 2 kids, and at age 4, they were both, I don't know, they were learning to read. They were learning some basic math, maybe like addition, subtraction, mostly just addition. Tell us about you being 4, and how did you even get into robotics? Did you just stumble on a book somewhere in a library, or was this an online thing where you started learning?
Well, I mean, honestly, I had all these Lego sets at home, so I would just put the gears together, motors, stuff like that. And then my mom took notice of this, and she started to try to get me into what do you call the actual robotics classes.
Mm-hmm.
And so at first I said no, obviously. I mean, come on, I was 4. But then she vouched for me to get tested, and I passed with flying colors, and they let me in. And I did literally every single thing that they had to offer.
Oh my God. Wow. That must be such an experience. And I'm so happy that your mom, went out of her way to do that, because that must mean a little bit more work for her as well, right? She's got to sign you up for these special classes. And I met your mom. She's awesome. So you've also gotten really lucky with an amazing mother that goes out of her way to help you. Yeah, there are some folks asking about drumming. I'm assuming, is that your drum set behind you? Someone is asking, how's your drumming going?
I actually don't play the drums. That's mainly my dad's thing. But I don't know if I can show you the piano that we have right next to it.
Oh yeah, I see it.
My thing. I do piano. So
okay.
Yeah, good.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, another question here from Ariel, and he's asking, what do you think is your biggest strength? Do you think it's memorization or understanding?
First of all, I want to clear something up. I don't think memorizing is that good. Because when you memorize something, say for a test,
yeah,
you just memorize it and it's in your brain. You just vomit it all over the test wherever it's needed, basically.
Yeah.
And then your brain just tells the information to pack its bags and leave. You forget everything after you do the test. So understanding is what I personally believe is a better alternative.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I like to do more often versus memorization. Because who knows? Who knows when trigonometry is going to come in handy someday?
I absolutely agree. If this brings me back to my mostly college days, because I can remember them easier than any other days. But when I had to cram for a test, I relied heavily on memorization, especially for the subjects that I felt, oh, I don't need this subject, right? So I would just kind of memorize as many concepts as I could. And then after the test, literally everything would just get erased. It's almost as if my mind is like, okay, we're done, erase this information. And it's really a waste of effort and time on my part and the institution as well. So definitely agree with you there.
Yeah.
Speaking of robotics, Andrew has a question here, and he's asking, what programming language or tool are you mainly using for robotics?
Well, when I was doing robotics courses at the classes, I actually learned C#. Was it C#? It's one of the C's.
Okay. Okay, so you're in C. Okay, awesome. We've just got people saying hello to you. There's Kristen saying hi. And Jan agrees that saying memory is just kind of a shortcut. I do think it is. I think in some cases it is helpful if you've got like a photographic memory to rely partly on memorization. I think it's probably a mix, but I do think understanding is just so much better than memorization. So yes.
I do have a photographic memory.
Oh, really? Do you? Okay. Have you been tested for this?
Well, I mean, I just remember things better. I can remember, say, what book I was reading. I don't know, like, if I've gotten tested for it, how I'm supposed to get tested for it, but
I don't know either.
It just works that way, I guess.
I have no idea either. I asked the question and then I'm like, how would they even test from this? So that's interesting. By the way, look who's in the audience. We've got Mike Wimmer. We were just talking about him before the session started. Mike, thanks for joining us. We were just saying how it would be fun to have you both have a conversation. I'll get out of the way and just have you guys talk to each other. You know, that could be fun. So yeah, and you know, it's interesting from some of your posts and in speaking to you in prepping for the session, I know you're very passionate about education and potentially reforming the way education currently takes place. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's wrong or what could be improved with the way education is currently run, at least in Dubai, or you know, if you're familiar with other areas as well.
Yeah, well, I'm mainly familiar with Dubai. That's where I was born. That's where I was raised. That's where I am now. I mean, I don't get where else I would be since COVID lockdown. I mean, it's easy over here, but besides, let's get to the education part, shall we? Yeah, so what do you call? There are quite a few things that I think could be tweaked in education to make it for the better. However, I'll just give my top few, as I really just want to keep it short because I don't know how long of a list that I can make of little tweaks that I think we should do. Anyway, so first up on my list, there needs to be like more project-based learning because I feel like standardized tests, it really just enforces memorization really, and it doesn't test any of your like actual practical skills, right? Like communication, collaboration, all of that versus project-based learning, which does. So I think that should be implemented. Number 2, AR, VR, XR. More of this, please. Like virtual reality, augmented reality, better. Mixed reality, the ultimate combination of the two. So if we can use that for education, things would become so much more immersive and like just help not memorization, what am I saying? Learning. It would help like understanding and learning because me being a kinesthetic learner, which means I prefer to learn by doing, like practical, for example, chemistry. Say you want to mix 2 elements together, you can do that safely in augmented reality or virtual reality without blowing your school up. So that's definitely a pro.
Yeah, absolutely. So project-based learning, AR, VR, XR. Anything else we can improve on?
Yes. Yes is the short answer. There's a longer answer, but I'm only probably going to share one or two more since the longer answer is like really long. Not to hate on schools though, they're doing a really good job with me. For example, my school, they've actually supported me and let me go up to secondary. And like I'm doing year nine chemistry, took my finals for that, and year 10 physics took my finals for that. GCSEs next year, year level. Year
Wow.
level. What? Okay, apparently I can't speak English today.
Wait, so Adam, what is your first language?
My first language? English.
Okay, so I think you're gonna say C# or something like that. I was talking to someone and she said from now on when she's asked about languages, she puts words like data or Python or R or C# for her language because that's what she uses more than English. Okay, so we've got a lot of improvement to make. A question for you on the project-based learning, right? Why do you think we're currently, or education is not focused on project-based learning?
Well, they are partially focused, but I feel like tests are like more sort of standardized. I can't pinpoint exactly why. Obviously, I didn't figure it out for myself, / I don't know the answer. But what do you call? I definitely think that standardized tests, hence the name, standardized, they're like more traditional, and I guess they're just an easier way of grading something. I'm really not sure. Take my advice.
You know, that's exactly what I was gonna say. That the word easier, I think it's the easy way out for education systems to throw everyone in a their own buckets with a standardized test. But I completely agree with you. I don't think that's the best approach, at least not for every subject, right? There might be subjects where a standardized test might make sense, but I agree. Project-based learning is definitely the way to go, especially for the later years when you're preparing to go out into the real world and start a job where you're going to use that project-based learning experience on the job. It just makes so much more sense than taking a standardized test because you literally don't do this in your life unless you're like, yeah.
I don't know what I'm. I don't know when you'll ever be like needed to do like a standardized test in life.
I know.
And you're going to be working on projects for companies. And on that note, that's what they should be doing, right?
Yes.
Take problems to kids to solve.
Yes, absolutely.
Company-based. Kids are loyal to your company. Good PR. There are so many freaking benefits that come with it.
Absolutely. I personally don't know any professional test takers. So yeah, it makes sense. We've got a question here from Ariel, and he's asking if you've got any fun project or ideas on the making of combining AR and AI. If so, could you please share?
Not exactly, but I'm working on my Unity. I'm going to work on like my Unity journey just as a personal project throughout the summer, just develop that. But I don't really know how to work AI, like how to AI, so I don't think.
I love the use of how to AI. That's awesome. Okay, so I've noticed, again, for when I was prepping for the session, that you use the hashtag ability not age on social media, right? So wanted to ask kind of what is your goal with that hashtag? What are you hoping to achieve?
Well, okay, so I want people to, number one, speak up. 2, get into the mindset of ability not age. 3, if they want things that's age restricted, try to just ask them to give you a fair shot, and don't keep on like spamming the company if you don't get it. That's the thing. You just ask if they reject. You can try a bit further, but just don't continuously try. But if it's really hard to age, but yeah. So ability not age, meant to impact, inspire, like people to speak up, share their ideas, like, and just
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned kind of going getting out of those age restricted areas. So I wanted to ask, for your personal educational journey, right? You kind of had to do that, right? So you had to go to the school and say, hey, let me take this year 10 physics, year 9 chemistry class and exams that you recently just took. Tell us about how you went about doing this. Did you have your mom go speak to the school and say, hey, Adam wants to take these classes? Were there any approvals you needed to get?
Well, personally, I don't know much of the process.
Okay.
My parents helped out a lot with this, so I have to thank them a lot. And so, yeah, I don't really know much of what it's about.
Okay. Yeah, I just know in the US, it's almost impossible to get your children to like even to the next level if they're showing that they're ready. They basically just say, if you're born in this year, you belong in this grade, and that is all you can do. You have to jump through a lot of hoops here. Hopefully, that's not the case in Dubai. But either way, I applaud your parents for fighting that battle, because I know that's tough to do. A comment here from Trixie. She's just saying hello, and she likes your comment on problem-solving approach versus a standardized test, and she agrees that this is the best way to learn.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your hobbies, Adam. You don't play the drums. You play piano. You love. Tell us more. What do you like to do for fun? What are your friends like? Do they also like robotics and computers?
I have friends everywhere. I have friends at Awecademy, at TKS, in secondary school, but the ones that I hang out most with are my primary school friends. And, well, as anyone would, we play video games together.
Video games. Okay, what's your favorite video game?
Well, I really like Rocket League, Minecraft. I don't know if you guys heard of this last one, but Apex Legends.
I haven't. Guys, have you heard of Apex Legends? Let's see what they say. So, we do have some video gamers on here. I used to personally play StarCraft before.
What's that?
StarCraft, it's like you get these 3 different worlds. There were like Zerglings, there were this human race, and you basically fight each other. It's like war. So it was a computer game. I'm pretty sure it's still popular. I just stopped making time for it. Ariel likes a shirt here. I said the same thing when we just joined. It's OMG, yes. So, Yan says Apex is all the rage. Okay, so.
Yes.
Cool, I guess. I don't know enough about this. Okay, so one of the ways I actually stumbled on your profile is first, I think I saw you on LinkedIn, and then I'm like, who is this 11-year-old speaker? I think you were actually 10 at the time when I was looking at your profile, and you had a link to your TEDx that you did called "Never Underestimate an 8-Year-Old" or something like that. And I watched it, and I'm like, wow, this kid is awesome. I have to have him on my show. But I want you to share your experience. I have a few friends that have actually given a TEDx talk or a TED talk, and I know it could be very stressful because it's a lot of pressure. You have that audience in front of you. So tell us about were you nervous for that talk, and what was your goal for giving that presentation?
Well, I mean, behind the scenes when I was about to go on, I was nervous. 1, 2, playing with my Rubik's Cube because, as any normal person would. So, yeah, so then 3, I was just, psyching myself up. 4, there's not a 4th one, so what I just said. But yeah, I was quite nervous, but Rubik's Cube helped. I went on, and as soon as I got a reaction from the audience, I knew I did. Sorry, my brain just took a little bit of time to process English.
So you had this audience reaction, and you knew that this is where you had to be, or you.
I wanted to be this is awesome,
Yes, absolutely. I can definitely relate to that. That the audience feedback has a big motivation, and it's really a feedback loop. So the more feedback you get, the more you kind of want to put yourself out there. I do think it's very similar for social media. That's kind of how I got started in social media, is making a couple of posts for the first time and then really just getting that feedback from the audience just keeps you coming back.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happened after the show?
After the show,
Yes.
well, yeah, okay. So I was super excited that like that was super fun, right? I went home, I had dinner, and I probably crashed.
Okay. So I'm assuming your parents were super proud of you.
Yeah.
And was your sister in the audience as well?
I don't remember exact details, but probably.
You were probably too nervous. You're like, I don't care. This is awesome. All right, so let's talk about work, because we have a question here from Ravit. He's asking, how do you balance your studies versus your work? I know we didn't talk about some of the work yet, but maybe answer this question first. Like, how do you balance your time across all the things that you want to do?
Time blocking. Time blocking, time blocking, time blocking, time blocking, time blocking.
Wait, so time blocking or something?
Time blocking. Just
Time
time blocking. You know? 40 minutes, one thing. Actually, no, wait. So school, right? 2 live lessons in the morning up until first break. I get everything else done. Time block, time block, time block, time block, time block. Dinner comes round, and then I start playing.
Okay, very, very interesting. So when did you uncover this time block? Was it recently, or you've always been doing things like that?
Well, I mean, not always. My productivity compared to, we can make a visual chart here with my arms. Sure, why not? So productivity when I was compared to now, right? Before I learned time blocking, it's around here, and then after I learned time blocking, it just through the roof. Like it's just. So the thing is, what I was doing is sometimes I would do one certain thing for too long and I would lose my focus and then I wouldn't be productive and I was just sitting there in the end. So now what I do, 40 minutes working on whatever it may be, 10-minute break, / 20-minute break, / okay, it's not really a set time, but
Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you use some kind of alarm for these 40-minute blocks, or is it just like, oh, it's 40 minutes, I'm gonna go get to work now?
it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go get to work, and whenever I need a break, I go take a break. These aren't exactly 10 minutes or 20 minutes, by the way. I'm not a robot, so I cannot. Sometimes I fall behind schedule, and then I just work really hard, and then I take a break, and yeah. So that's time blocking in a nutshell.
So you're not a robot, Adam? Come on! This whole time I thought I'm talking to.
Come on, Adam. Why are you a robot? Come on, man.
Be a robot, Adam. Come on. So speaking of robots, Jan has a question. He's got an 8-year-old, and how does he get his 8-year-old into robotics?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily push for a certain topic, right? I would just say for your 8-year-old, to follow his or her curiosity, right? Curiosity is so important. It takes you like everywhere to on Earth, like maybe to some non-existent world full of just math, who knows, and maybe out of the solar system, out of the universe. Who knows, right? And so curiosity helped me find this public speaking, and look how much I love it. Look how much I've done now.
Absolutely. I can tell you love it. I can tell the excitement, especially when you do this. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. We have more questions coming in. One from Ravit here. He's asking, who has been your inspiration in the tech world and why? Do you have someone that inspired you?
Do I have someone that inspired me? I haven't actually really thought of that. I haven't had like a set role model, sort of. I just have a bunch of people that I look up to that are super cool, and yeah, they just inspire me.
Okay, awesome. So I want to talk about Astron. So you're a co-founder of Astron. a prototype for purifying water on Mars, because every 11-year-old does that.
Yeah.
So tell us more. What is the mission? What are you working on? And why is this purification of water on Mars so important to you?
Mission. Okay, mission. Purifying, extracting ice from underneath the surface of Mars and purifying it into drinking water for humanity. I haven't been keeping count, but that's probably like the 20th time I've said that sentence.
And it's definitely not the last, Adam, because I'm sure you're going to have to repeat
that sentence so many times. It just sticks to me, but the whole purpose is just like, as I said, I don't want to say it again.
Okay, so what do you personally, what kind of contributions are you making? What are you doing for this project?
So the reason, it's taken a bit of a backseat, to be honest, now, since, well, all the other things going on in my life. Public speaking's now just kicked off, so that's kind of a thing.
Okay. Got it. Yes, I definitely can relate. There are so many things I want to take on. I actually posted about this just last night on LinkedIn, saying there are so many things I want to do, but I'm trying to make time for some of those things that I'm mostly excited about. So I think that happens throughout life. You end up doing 20 different things, but you have to select the few that you're going to focus on. So totally understand that took a back seat, but I am looking forward to seeing where you take this in the next couple of months, years, whenever you get the time. You're also looking into BCIs, or brain computer interfacing. And I know recently Elon Musk's company Neuralink said they're going to implant a computer chip, I think it's the size of a coin or so, into the human brain. So what are your thoughts on this? Should we be doing stuff like that?
It's cool. It's cool. It's very cool. Nice. Good one, Elon Musk. But brain-computer interfaces can do so much other things. Just, sure, there's your typical, playing video games without a controller because, come on, look at this bulky thing. Who wants to carry this around? Ew.
So you just want to have a chip in your brain that you can play video games with?
I mean, who knows? There's so many possibilities. You could literally think a language, boom, download it literally into your brain. You are now a fluent Chinese speaker. And there are so many other things you can do. Actually, one thing that I've done on this topic, in a project in TKS. See, I told you I'd touch upon it. And so, what I did, it's called Brain Computer Beats. It's another prototype which is aimed to help kids with ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Focus in the classroom and stuff. And so the way it works, we have an EEG headband, electroencephalogram for any of you guys wondering out there. But it's a headband. It measures your focus. We're designing it to measure your focus, actually. Not all of them measure your focus, but it will give a percentage value based on that, relate to an app on a teacher's device, and then it'll start this thing called beta binaural beats, and 2 different frequencies played into 2 different ears, your brain falls into synchrony, and creates waves with that exact same frequency. The difference. If you get within the beta wave frequency range, it produces beta waves, obviously. And so beta waves help focus, so fine. There you go.
Easy peasy. Yeah, Adam, so simple. Come on, anyone can do this.
It wasn't.
I know. Oh my God. But the way you explained it, you're like, boom, done. Let the kid focus. So why
24 hours?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's a very good solution for kids, or even, I guess, adults with ADHD, right? Just to help them focus with a non-invasive and non-pharmaceutical approach. So that's really awesome. Wow. You're doing amazing things. I'm actually really excited to see what you come up with. We've got plenty of questions that came in, so we'll go ahead and take a couple. how do you motivate yourself being a kid where you have to enjoy your childhood days? So I guess how do you motivate yourself into being both a child and having fun with video games and also taking care of all the other business that you're doing?
I have like a river of motivation just flowing inside of me. I hope it never runs out, but I'm very internally motivated. And so this has all come from my parents. They're a great support network. I can trust them with my life. And they're just so encouraging and motivating with me. And just since the start, actually, and they've just been really nice. So thanks again. Again.
I love that. Awesome.
And yeah, when I still have to be like a kid, time blocking. That's, I'm not keeping count, but the 9th time I've said that.
Yes.
Yeah, so it just helps you get work done and all that, and it just is a great balance of what you call being a kid, and it's just like being a kid, playing video games, doing all my passions, hobbies, stuff like that, and I also do work, so yeah.
Awesome. And this question might be relevant to everything you just said. And the question is, what makes you happy, right? Just, I know it's probably the most difficult question from the entire session because it's so vague, but what makes you happy, Adam?
A lot of things. Short answer, a lot. Long answer, when I say a lot, I mean like endless amount of things. There is like, I'm an optimist. You cannot stop me being an optimist. I will take literally everything as a positive view. Well, I mean, not some things. Yeah, and like, for example, like optimism, along with so many great things. I know this is a bit on a tangent, but mindset. Optimism is a mindset. You can get optimistic. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And so there's so many other like countless great mindsets that I use. For example, anti-fragility. Say like, be a bouncy ball. If you drop the bouncy ball, it will bounce back higher to where it was. That should be you. If you fail and you hit rock bottom, bounce back higher. Take it as a learning, optimism. And just get to a higher ledge than you were before, right?
Yeah.
And so many other things, like a growth mindset, believe in yourself, you can do it. Anything you put your mind to, you can do. That's a saying that's actually true. I love rhymes, by the way, as you can tell. And so then there's also like what you call the why not mindset. Just if you like, it's literally in the name, why not? Be resilient, be intentional about what you want to get done, like goals, I don't want to say the word, but I think I have to. Time block.
I think my two most important things I'm learning from you is time block and be a bouncy ball. I think those are such important concepts for that absolutely everyone at any age should apply to their life, right? Time blocking for the things that you want to accomplish and things that make you happy. And I love the visual of that little bouncy ball because it's true. Whenever you drop it, it bounces up higher than when it failed. So I really love that. Thank you for sharing all the different mindsets. I love it. A question here from Trixie. She's asking, how do you acquire new skills? Do you have any tips for Trixie?
Tips. Curiosity. Also, curiosity is a skill. So by practicing it, I think that kills two birds with one stone. You can earn a new skill and a skill that you will use for like everything in your entire life. Curiosity is like one of the most useful things, and the way that you can practice / learn it, just take yourself to one new topic at least every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple. That's it.
And then
every day, and like say Medium. This is a great place. There's so many topics on this. Hydration check. So what do you call it? You just Google like something that you've never heard of before, like biomimicry. Here's studies. Biomimicry, brain computer interfaces. Delve deep into like some of these if you like. And I like to give this analogy as like being a dolphin. You're in the water in a topic, you jump out of that one, discover a new one. Dig deep into that. Jump out of the water, discover a new topic.
That's very interesting, and I love the dolphin approach. I'm like, you have so many cool sayings. I love this, Adam. So you take this dolphin approach, and you mentioned Google, you mentioned Medium. Do you read books at all, or do you focus mostly on kind of the online learning?
I also read books. Like I have like a bunch of books that I like to read. It's not necessarily the ones that inform you about everything that life can possibly hold, but yeah, it's more like a series. So I read those. But if you were to actually get topics, sure, books are good, but the amount of online learning resources have skyrocketed since COVID because guess what? Everything's shifted online.
Yes, absolutely. I also try to read at times, but you're right. When you're trying to be that dolphin diving into different topics, sometimes the book it's there and it could be really good, but the internet allows you to just keep diving down and seeing all these different opinions. Trixie here loves the dolphin approach, and Kimberly loves the bouncy ball. So people can definitely relate. Do you have any favorite books that you recently read that you would recommend?
Favorite books? Well, for me, it's not really, maybe not adult books, but here's some of the books that I read. Tom Gates, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's not what it sounds. But
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's good. Then there's, which one was it? Timmy Failure.
I love how you giggle throughout the whole conversation. It's the best, honestly. You really have fun with it. I love it. By the way, anyone listening who has an awesome podcast, Adam loves to be on podcasts. So I highly recommend you reach out to him on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Follow Adam. He clearly enjoys these live conversations, as is evident through his smile the whole time.
Boy.
Yes. So, Adam, you just turned 11 recently, right?
Yep.
Well, happy birthday. What are your plans before you turn 12, right? So for the next, I don't know, 10, 11 months or so, what plans do you have?
I mean, I guess keep going at it. Public speaking, as I mentioned, it's kind of kicked off. So I can continue that. And then there's also Unity. And if I want to like join another accelerator, why not? You can never go too fast. I can do that if I want to. But for the most part, it's just following wherever my curiosity wants to take me. You know?
Okay, yes, absolutely. Well, Adam, I know it's getting a little bit late for you, so I want to be mindful of your time, and I want to really thank you so much for being on the Dedicated show. I just know, like, I'm going to watch this 10 years from now and be like, I knew Adam when he was just 11. So this is awesome. Thank you again for being on the show, and I want you to let everybody know where they can continue the conversation or where they can find you online.
LinkedIn. I'm most active there. Contact me here, please. And so there's also Instagram, but I don't really use it as much now. But that's an option if you want. But mainly LinkedIn. If you want to contact me, LinkedIn, yes. But that's the main part. You can also shoot me an email. All of these are like Adam El Rafey. So Adam El Rafey LinkedIn, Adam El Rafey Instagram, AdamElRafey@gmail.com if you want to shoot me an email. Yeah.
Awesome. Consistent branding. Adam El Rafey, thank you so much. We've got people saying thank you here. So thank you again to the audience that joined us. I really appreciate the engagement, the comments, the questions. And Adam, thank you again so much for being on the show.
No problem.
All right, awesome. Have a good rest of your evening.
Bye.
Bye.